My father sold me for money. The Mafia boss married me for power. And I fell in love with the man who owned my silence. Chapter 1. The Sale. Noah Hale learned the price of silence long before he learned the price of love. His father's study smelled of old leather and desperation. Papers were stacked too neatly, as if order alone could stop a collapse. Noah stood by the door, hands folded, spine straight, obedience worn like a second skin. He had been called in without explanation, which meant something had already been decided. "Sit," his father said, not unkindly. Noah obeyed. His father did not look at him at first. He stared at the city beyond the window, jaw tight. "The company is drowning," he said. "I've secured a loan." Relief fluttered weakly in Noah's chest. "That's good," he said softly. "There's a condition." The pause that followed was heavy enough to bruise. "They want you married." The words landed gently, like a blade wrapped in velvet. "To whom?" Noah asked, already knowing. His father finally turned. Lucian Vale. The name settled into the room like a storm cloud. Mafia boss. CEO. The man people spoke of in lowered voices. A ruler without a crown who bought loyalty and buried betrayal. Noah's fingers tightened in his lap. "Why me?" "Because you're an Omega," his father said. And because he agreed. Agreed? As if Noah were an object placed on a table and assessed for usefulness. "You'll be safe," his father added quickly. "He's powerful. He'll protect you. You'll be happy." Noah nodded. He had been taught that happiness was something other people defined for him. That night, he packed a small bag. He left behind childhood photographs, favorite books, any proof that he had ever belonged to himself. When the car arrived, he did not cry. He had learned that tears were wasted on people who had already made their choices. The wedding was scheduled with ruthless efficiency. Noah saw Lucian Vale for the first time beneath cathedral lights, dressed in black that swallowed the glow around him. He was tall, broad-shouldered, face carved into something cold and unreadable. His eyes flicked to Noah once, brief, assessing, impersonal, and then away. Something inside Noah twisted painfully. He had imagined fear. He had not expected the sudden aching pull in his chest. As vows were spoken, Noah watched Lucian's hands. Strong, steady, unadorned by rings until the moment one was slid onto Noah's finger. When Lucian took his hand, his grip was firm, possessive, and utterly devoid of warmth. Noah told himself that warmth could come later. At the reception, people watched them like a spectacle. Noah noticed women near Lucian, beautiful, confident, laughing easily at things he did not say. Jealousy pricked, sharp and unfamiliar. He swallowed it down. He was the spouse. That had to mean something. Lucian did not touch him again. The penthouse was vast and quiet, a palace of glass and steel. Noah stood just inside the doorway while Lucian removed his jacket and handed it to a waiting staff member. "You live here," Lucian said, finally turning to him. His voice was calm, controlled. "You will not interfere in my work. You will not seek attention. You will not confuse this arrangement for affection." Noah nodded, heart racing. "I understand." Lucian's gaze lingered a second too long. Something like irritation flickered there, at Noah's compliance perhaps, or at the way he did not argue. "There is someone else," Lucian added flatly. "Someone who was promised to me first." Noah's breath hitched. "I see. You will not compete," Lucian said. "You will not expect anything." "I won't," Noah whispered. Lucian studied him, eyes dark. "Good." That night, Noah sat on the edge of the bed, hands clenched in the sheets. He had practiced the words in his head, fragile and hopeful. Before he could speak, Lucian's voice cut through the room. This marriage exists because your father needed money, Lucian said. There is no love here. Noah froze. Anger flared suddenly in Lucian's expression. Anger that had nothing to do with Noah and everything to do with old wounds. Don't pretend otherwise, he snapped. I won't be manipulated. I wasn't. Noah stopped. He lowered his gaze. I understand. Lucian stepped closer. His presence pressed in, overwhelming. You belong here because I allow it, he said quietly. Remember that. Noah nodded again, swallowing the words he had wanted to say. The door closed later with a finality that echoed. Alone in the vast bed, Noah pressed a hand to his chest, where love and fear tangled into something dangerous and consuming. He did not yet know how deep the silence would carve into him, only that he had been bought, and that he was already falling for the man who owned him. Chapter 2: Possession Without Love. Noah woke before dawn, the unfamiliar ceiling pressing down on him like a reminder he could not escape. The other side of the bed was untouched, cold. He lay there for a long moment, staring at the faint reflection of the city lights against the glass walls, listening to the quiet hum of a place that did not feel like home. Marriage had not brought comfort. It had only changed the shape of his loneliness. When Noah finally rose, he dressed carefully in clothes laid out for him by staff, who spoke politely and kept their distance. No one asked how he felt. No one asked what he wanted. They already knew the answers. Downstairs, Lucian Vale was seated at the long dining table, scrolling through reports on a tablet. He looked as though he had not slept at all. Sharp, immaculate, fully in control. Good morning, Noah said softly. Lucian glanced up briefly. You don't need to announce yourself. Noah's fingers tightened at his sides. I just thought. Don't, Lucian said, tone clip. You'll learn faster if you stop trying. Noah nodded and fell silent. The days settled into a rigid pattern. Lucian came and went, without warning. Meetings filled the penthouse with strangers who barely acknowledged Noah's presence, though their eyes lingered longer than comfort allowed. Noah learned where to stand, where to sit, when to disappear. He also learned something far more unsettling. Lucian did not want him, but Lucian did not allow anyone else to want him either. When a guard spoke too kindly, he was reassigned. When a staff member smiled too warmly, they were replaced. When anyone looked at Noah with curiosity instead of indifference, Lucian's gaze turned sharp and unforgiving. Noah noticed everything, especially the other man. Lucian's lover moved through the penthouse, as though he belonged there, touching Lucian freely, laughing softly at his side. He spoke Lucian's name like it was a privilege Noah had not earned. Jealousy curled painfully in Noah's chest. At night, he lay awake listening to distant voices and doors closing down the hall, telling himself it didn't matter. But it did. One evening, Lucian returned late. Noah was sitting in the living room, book forgotten in his lap. Lucian stopped when he saw him. Why are you still awake? I wanted to wait for you, Noah admitted, heart pounding. Lucian's expression hardened. That's not your role. Noah swallowed. I know. I just wanted to see you. Lucian laughed quietly, without humor. You mistake presence for permission. He turned to leave, then paused. There's a gathering tomorrow, Lucian said. You'll attend. Noah looked up, startled. With you? Yes, wear something appropriate. You'll represent me. A fragile hope sparked in Noah's chest. All right. Lucian glanced back at him, eyes dark and possessive. Remember something, he added. You're mine. Don't forget that. Noah nodded. He never could. The gathering was elegant and merciless. Crystal lights, quiet music, powerful people watching from behind polite smiles. Noah stayed close to Lucian's side, every movement measured, every breath controlled. A woman leaned too close to Lucian, smiling brightly. "You've been keeping secrets," she said, eyes flicking to Noah. Lucian's arm wrapped firmly around Noah's waist. "He's married," Lucian said calmly. "Be careful." The woman stepped back immediately. Noah's breath caught at the contact. Lucian's grip was not affectionate, it was claiming. Later, Noah spoke briefly to another guest, exchanging polite words. Lucian interrupted without warning. "That's enough." The guest retreated. Lucian leaned down, voice low and cold near Noah's ear. "You don't belong to the room," he murmured. "You belong to me." Fear and longing twisted together painfully inside Noah. That night, Lucian followed Noah into the bedroom. He didn't touch him. He didn't need to. "You looked at someone tonight," Lucian said. "I didn't mean to," Noah whispered. "I know," Lucian replied. "That's the problem." He stepped close enough for Noah to feel his presence, overwhelming, dangerous. "You don't understand what wanting does to people like me," Lucian said. "It destroys them." Noah looked up at him, voice trembling. "I want you." Silence crashed between them. Lucian's eyes darkened. "You don't get to choose," he said quietly. "I do." He stepped back. "Sleep," Lucian ordered. "Tomorrow remember your place." He left, without another word. Noah curled into himself beneath the heavy sheets, heart racing, desire and despair tangled so tightly he could no longer separate them. He was trapped in a cage built of power and silence, and he wanted the man holding the key. Chapter 3. The first night. Noah did not sleep. Lucian's words echoed through him. "You don't get to choose." "I do." They clung to his thoughts like smoke, thick and suffocating. Morning came pale and sharp. Noah sat up in bed, hands pressed to his knees, and told himself something dangerous. "If I love him enough, he'll soften." Hope had always been his quiet weakness. Lucian avoided him all day. Orders came through Star. Meals were delivered without comment. The penthouse felt larger, emptier, its silence more deliberate than before. When Noah crossed the hallway, he caught sight of Lucian's lover leaning against a doorway, watching him with open disdain. "You look smaller today," the man said lightly. "Careful, Lucian doesn't like things that shrink." Noah lowered his gaze and walked past. Silence was safer. That night, Lucian came to Noah's room without warning. The door closed softly behind him. Too softly. Noah sat on the edge of the bed, heart hammering. Lucian stood near the door, removing his jacket with slow precision, eyes fixed on Noah as if measuring him. "You wanted to talk," Lucian said. "Yes," Noah whispered. Lucian stepped closer. The air felt heavier with each step. "Say it." Noah swallowed. His hands clenched in the sheet. "I know this marriage started because of my father," he said carefully. "I know I was sold, but I won." Lucian's jaw tightened. "Don't." "I want us to be real," Noah continued, voice trembling but steady. "I want you." Lucian laughed, a sharp, broken sound. "You don't want me," he said. "You want safety, stability, a fantasy." "No," Noah said softly. "I want you." The room went dangerously still. Lucian's eyes darkened with something volatile. Anger, hurt, something older and far more dangerous. "You think this is love?" he snapped. "You think you were chosen?" He closed the distance in a single stride, towering over Noah. "You're here because someone else betrayed me, because your father needed money, because I needed leg." Each word was a cut. Noah's eyes burned, but he didn't look away. "I still chose you." Something in Lucian fractured. Lucian's hand came up suddenly, gripping Noah's jaw, not cruel, but unyielding. You don't get to choose, he said again, voice low and rough. Not me, not this. He kissed Noah. It was not gentle. It was possession, angry, desperate, overwhelming. Noah froze, breath stuttering, heart racing with fear and a painful, unwanted yearning. Lucian's restraint snapped, driven by resentment and loss, rather than tenderness. The world narrowed to heat and pressure, and the terrible certainty that this was happening to him, not with him. When Lucian pulled back, his breathing was uneven, his eyes dark with something he refused to name. Remember this, Lucian said coldly. You don't love me. You endure me. He turned away and left. Noah lay still for a long time. His body ached, but the deeper pain was quieter, hollowing him out from the inside. He pressed his hand to his chest as if he could hold his heart together. He had offered love. Lucian had answered with control. And still, terrifyingly, Noah loved him. The next morning, Lucian did not return. But everything had changed. The guards watched Noah more closely. Staff spoke even less. The lover's smile sharpened, as if he sensed blood in the water. The marriage was no longer a contract. It was a cage. And Lucian Vale was both the lock and the man Noah could not stop wanting. Chapter 4. Punishment. The punishment did not begin with violence. That was what terrified Noah the most. It began with distance. Lucian stopped looking at him. Days passed where Noah existed in the same space as Lucian, but felt entirely unseen, spoken around, stepped past, ignored with deliberate precision. Orders were given through intermediaries. Meals were changed without explanation. His schedule was tightened, monitored, controlled. Every small freedom was quietly removed. Noah understood the message. This was what happened when he overstepped. The lover made sure no one noticed. You should learn, he said one afternoon, voice smooth and poisonous, that Lucian doesn't forgive weakness, especially not attachment. Noah kept his eyes lowered. I didn't mean to. No one ever does, the lover replied with a thin smile. But you embarrassed him. You tried to claim something that wasn't yours. Noah's chest tightened. I never claimed. The lover leaned closer. You exist because Lucian allows it. Remember that. Noah remembered. Every hour. The first punishment came quietly. Lucian cancelled Noah's presence at events, confined him to the penthouse, restricted who could speak to him and when. Even the garden, the one place Noah felt calm, was suddenly off limits. When Noah finally gathered the courage to ask why, Lucian didn't look up from his desk. You need boundaries, Lucian said. I thought I had crossed one, Noah whispered. Lucian's pen paused. You did. Noah nodded, throat tight. I'm sorry. Lucian looked at him then, really looked, and something cold flickered across his face. Sorry doesn't undo desire, Lucian said. It only makes it harder to control. The second punishment hurt more. Lucian's lover was allowed back into the penthouse fully. Not quietly, not subtly. Noah heard laughter through the wall, saw touches that lingered, heard Lucian's name spoken with familiarity Noah was never allowed to claim. The lover made a point of passing Noah in the halls, fingers brushing Lucia's arm, eyes daring Noah to react. Noah did not. He swallowed the jealousy until it burned. One night, Lucian summoned Noah to his office. Sit, Lucian said. Noah obeyed, hands folded in his lap, heart pounding. You need to understand something, Lucian continued calmly. Control keeps people alive in my world. Emotion gets them killed. I won't be emotional, Noah said quickly. Lucian's gaze sharpened. You already are. Lucian stood, circling him slowly. You look at me like you want something I can't give. That's dangerous, for you. Noah's voice shook. Then tell me what I'm allowed to want. Lucien stopped in front of him. You're allowed to want obedience, Lucien said. Safety, silence, nothing else. The punishment escalated in ways no one saw. Lucien corrected Noah publicly, brief, humiliating remarks delivered in calm tones. He withdrew protection, just enough that others felt emboldened to belittle Noah. He watched and did nothing. And still, when Noah flinched, when Noah went pale, when Noah's hands trembled, Lucien noticed. Always. One evening, Noah collapsed in the hallway. Exhaustion, hunger, stress layered too deeply to withstand anymore. Lucien found him moments later. The sight hit him like a blow. Noah on the floor, breath shallow, eyes unfocused. For a moment, Lucien's mask cracked. What did you do to him? Lucien demanded of the staff. No one answered. Lucien knelt without thinking, lifting Noah carefully. Noah, he said quietly. Look at me. Noah stirred weakly. I'm sorry, he murmured. The words shattered something in Lucien. Later, alone in the dark bedroom, Lucien stood over Noah as he slept, face pale, body too thin beneath the sheet. This was never supposed to happen, Lucien whispered to no one. He reached out, then stopped. Punishment had been his language. But it was beginning to sound like cruelty. And cruelty, Lucien realized too late, had consequences. Chapter 5. The Child. Noah collapsed in the east hallway just after noon. There was no dramatic cry for help. No warning. One moment he was standing near the window, fingers pressed lightly to the glass as he watched the city below, and the next his knees gave out and the world went dark. When he woke, the air smelled sterile. White walls, soft beeping, a hospital room. Panic surged through him instantly. He tried to sit up, but dizziness forced him back against the pillow. Easy, a calm voice said. You fainted. A doctor stood beside the bed, reviewing a chart. Severe exhaustion, she continued. Malnutrition, prolonged stress. Noah's throat tightened. I'm sorry, he whispered automatically. I didn't mean to cause trouble. The doctor's expression softened, but her voice turned serious. There's something else. Noah's heart began to race. You're pregnant. The word echoed in his head, loud and impossible. Pregnant. His hand moved slowly, trembling, resting over his stomach as if the truth might burn through his skin. That can't be right, he whispered, though something deep inside him already knew. Is, the doctor said gently. You're in the early stages, but your condition is fragile. You need care, proper food, rest, safety. Noah swallowed hard. Does Lucien know? The doctor hesitated. Not yet. Relief and fear tangled painfully together. Lucien was informed an hour later. He listened in silence as the doctor spoke, posture rigid, expression unreadable. The words omega, pregnant, risk fell between them like live ammunition. An heir, the doctor finished carefully. But if the stress continues, Lucien raised a hand. That won't happen. The certainty in his voice startled even himself. When the doctor left, Lucien remained alone in the hallway, staring at nothing. A child. His child. And Noah, thin, pale, shaking, broken under his control. For the first time in years, Lucien felt something dangerously close to fear. Noah returned to the penthouse that evening. Nothing was said. But everything changed. Meals arrived regularly now. Nutritious, carefully prepared. Guards were doubled. Staff were instructed not to raise their voices around him. The lover was barred from Noah's wing of the house, without explanation. Lucien did not come to him. Not that night. Not the next. Noah spent his days quietly adjusting to a body that no longer felt entirely his own. Nausea in the mornings, exhaustion that sank into his bones, an instinctive protectiveness that made him cradle his stomach when anxiety rose. He told no one. He was afraid that naming it, acknowledging the child aloud, might make it easier to take away. Lucian watched from a distance. He noticed the way Noah ate slowly now, the way he paused on stairs, the way his hand drifted unconsciously to his abdomen when he was stressed. One evening, Lucian found him sitting on the bedroom floor, back against the bed, breathing unevenly. "What's wrong?" Lucian asked sharply. Noah startled. "Nothing. I'm fine." Lucian's gaze dropped immediately, to Noah's hand pressed protectively over his stomach. "Don't lie," Lucian said. Noah's shoulders sagged. "I just get dizzy sometimes." Lucian crouched in front of him without thinking. The movement shocked them both. "You should have told me," Lucian said quietly. "I didn't know if I was allowed," Noah replied. The words struck harder than any accusation. Lucian stood abruptly, jaw clenched. "You are allowed medical care," he snapped. "You're carrying my child." "My..." The possessiveness in the word sent a shiver through Noah. From that moment, Lucian's obsession sharpened. He restricted who could approach Noah. He shortened meetings to return sooner. He began appearing silently in doorways, watching Noah read, eat, sleep. Not touching, just watching. Noah felt it constantly, the weight of Lucian's attention, heavy and consuming, driven by something darker than desire. One night, Noah whispered, "Do you hate me less now?" Lucian stiffened. "I don't hate you." Noah lowered his gaze. "You just don't care." Lucian said nothing. But when Noah woke from a nightmare hours later, Lucian was sitting in the chair beside the bed, eyes open, watching over him. The lover did not take the change quietly. "So this is it," he sneered one afternoon. "A womb replaces me." Lucian appeared behind him like a shadow. "You will not speak to him again." The lover turned pale. "You can't mean..." "I do." The lover was removed from the mansion that night. No spectacle, no explanation, just absence. For the first time since the wedding, Noah felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Not love, but safety. Later, standing together on the balcony, city lights glowing below, Lucian rested a careful hand at Noah's back. "You won't be harmed," Lucian said stiffly. "Not anymore." Noah closed his eyes, leaning slightly into the warmth. It wasn't tenderness, but it was a promise. And for now, it was enough. Chapter 6. The Party. The invitation arrived sealed in black and gold, heavy enough to feel like a warning. Lucian read it once, then again, jaw tightening. Attendance was not optional. Too many eyes. Too many alliances balanced on appearances. "You'll come with me," he said. Noah looked up from the sofa, surprise flickering across his face. "May?" "Yes." No explanation followed. There never was one, but the decision had already been made. Preparation was swift and meticulous. Tailors arrived with quiet efficiency, fitting Noah into a tailored suit that softened the sharp lines of his body without hiding them. When Noah finally stood before the mirror, he barely recognized himself. He looked composed, valuable. Lucian watched from the doorway, gaze lingering too long. "You don't have to stare," Noah said softly. Lucian didn't answer. The ballroom glittered with wealth and power. Conversations hushed as Lucian Vale entered, and resumed only when he allowed them to. Noah stayed close, acutely aware of every look, every whisper, every assessment. Hands brushed Noah's sleeve. Eyes lingered. Smiles turned curious. Lucian noticed all of it. A man laughed too warmly at something Noah said. Lucian's hand settled firmly at Noah's lower back. "He's married," Lucian said calmly. The man paled and stepped away. Noah's breath caught. "You didn't have to." "I did," Lucian replied. "You're mine." The words were possessive, unapologetic, and they made Noah's heart race. Then the lover appeared. He moved through the crowd like he belonged there, eyes sharp and calculating. When he reached them, his smile was polite, but his gaze burned when it landed on Noah. "Well," he said lightly, lifting a glass. "You look well." Lucian's voice was cold. "Leave." The lover ignored him and turned to Noah. "Careful," he murmured, offering a bottle of wine. "These things stain." Before Noah could react, the lover tilted the bottle sharply. Wine spilled across Noah's sleeve and down his chest, dark and humiliating. Laughter rippled nearby. Noah froze, face burning. Lucian moved instantly. His grip closed around the lover's wrist, crushing. "Enough." The room went silent. Lucian pulled Noah against his chest, arm firm and unmistakably protective. "Touch him again," he said quietly, "and you won't leave this building." The lover's smile cracked. "You're choosing him." Lucian didn't hesitate. "I already did." They left early. In the car, Lucian's hand rested heavily on Noah's thigh, possessive, grounding, unrelenting. His silence was furious. "I embarrassed you," Noah whispered. Lucian turned sharply. "He did," he said, "and I won't allow it again." Noah swallowed hard. Back at the penthouse, the tension snapped. Lucian stood too close. His gaze traced Noah with an intensity that made his breath hitch. Not desire, but something darker. Protective. Obsessive. "You're not invisible anymore," Lucian said. "Not to anyone." Noah met his eyes. "Is that a warning?" Lucian leaned down, voice low. "It's a promise." Across the city, the lover watched footage replay on a screen. Lucian Vale. Noah at his side. A hand resting protectively where a secret life was growing. The lover's glass shattered in his grip. "If I can't have him," he whispered, eyes burning, "no one will." Chapter 7. Kidnap. Noah vanished on an ordinary afternoon. That was what unsettled Lucian the most later, how unremarkable the day had seemed. The sky was clear. Meetings were routine. The world had given no warning. Lucian left the mansion just after noon, pausing at the door longer than usual. His eyes lingered on Noah, who sat by the window with a book resting against his stomach. "2 guards," Lucian said. "Stay inside." Noah nodded. "I will." Lucian hesitated, then left with a tightening in his chest he refused to acknowledge. The garden was supposed to be safe. Noah sat beneath the old stone archway, the air cool against his skin, one hand resting unconsciously over his stomach. The guards stood at a respectful distance. For a moment, just one, he felt almost normal. Then footsteps approached. Noah looked up, expecting one of the guards. It was the lover. Shock froze him in place. "You're not allowed here." The lover smiled calmly. "Lucian doesn't own the city." Noah stood, heart pounding. "Please leave." "You took something from me," the lover said softly. "I just want to talk." Pain exploded at the back of Noah's head. The world shattered into light and darkness. Lucian knew something was wrong before anyone spoke. His phone rang, once, twice, unanswered. When he arrived at the mansion and saw the open gates, the unconscious guards, the empty garden, something inside him sapped completely. "Lock the city," Lucian said, voice terrifyingly calm. "I want every camera, every road, every port watched." Security footage played silently. The lover. Noah, collapsing. a vehicle disappearing beyond the gate. Lucian's hand closed into a fist so tight his knuckles split. "Find him," Lucian said. "No." Noah woke bound to a chair in a dim room that smelled of concrete and oil. His wrists burned. His head throbbed. Panic surged when memory returned. He struggled weakly, breath shaking. "Easy," the lover said, stepping into view. "You don't want to hurt the baby." Terror went cold and sharp in Noah's chest. "If you touch him—" "I won't," the lover said calmly. "Not unless Lucian forces my hand." Noah lifted his chin, fear burning into defiance. "He'll come for me?" The lover laughed quietly. "That's the point." Lucian tore the city apart. Warehouses were searched, allies interrogated, enemies disappeared. Every second without Noah carved something raw and feral into Lucian's chest. When the location finally surfaced, Lucian didn't wait. The door came down under the force of his rage. The room filled with chaos, shouting, gunfire, panic, and then Lucian was there, eyes locked on Noah. Alive, bruised, terrified. Relief hit him so hard he nearly staggered. "Don't move," Lucian said, voice shaking despite himself. The lover turned, fury and desperation colliding. "You chose him," he spat. "Over everything we planned." Lucian didn't argue. The fight was brief, final, wall. When it was over, Lucian crossed the room in 2 strides and cut Noah free, pulling him into his chest without hesitation. "I've got you," Lucian said hoarsely. "You're safe." Noah clung to him, trembling. "I knew you'd come." Lucian closed his eyes, holding him tighter than he ever had before. The punishment was swift and merciless. The lover did not return to Lucian's world. Some endings were not spoken of. Back at the mansion, Noah sat wrapped in blankets, exhaustion dragging at his limbs. Lucian knelt in front of him, kneeling, when Lucian Vale knelt for no one. "This is my fault," Lucian said quietly. "I should have protected you." "You did," Noah whispered. "You came." Lucian pressed his forehead gently against Noah's stomach, voice breaking. "I can't lose you, either of you." For the first time, the words were not ownership. They were fear, and something dangerously close to love. Chapter 8, Forever Bound. The city whispered after the kidnapping. People noticed the change in Lucian Vale, not in the way he ruled, but in the way he ended things. Enemies vanished faster. Threats were erased before they could breathe. The empire tightened around one clear truth. Touch Noah, and you die. Lucian never said it aloud. He didn't have to. Noah healed slowly. Bruises faded. Nightmares didn't. Some nights he woke gasping, hands clutching his stomach, fear crawling up his spine. Every time Lucian was there, sometimes sitting silently in the chair, sometimes standing guard by the window, sometimes holding Noah without words. Always there. "I don't need a guard," Noah murmured one night. Lucian brushed his thumb gently over Noah's wrist, careful. "I do?" Noah looked up at him. "Why?" Lucian's jaw tightened. "Because the world already tried to take you once." The pregnancy worsened before it improved. Doctor spoke in careful tone. Lucian listened with a fury sharpened by fear, demanding solutions, time, certainty, things no one could promise. Noah noticed how Lucian's hands shook when test results were delayed, how he stood too close during examinations, how he watched Noah breathe when he slept. "You're scared," Noah said quietly one evening. Lucian didn't deny it. "I almost lost you." "You hurt me," Noah said. Not accusing, just honest. "Before." Lucian's shoulders stiffened. "I know." "I stayed anyway," Noah continued. "Not because I was afraid, because I chose to." Lucian met his gaze, something raw and unguarded breaking through. I don't deserve that choice. No, Noah agreed softly. But I made it. The child was born at dawn during a thunderstorm. Lucian had faced gunfire without flinching, but in that hospital room, helpless and bloodied with fear, he nearly broke. When the cry finally came, small, furious, alive, Lucian dropped to his knees. It's a boy, the doctor said, smiling. They're both safe. Lucian approached the bed slowly, reverently, as if afraid the moment might shatter. Noah was exhausted, pale, glowing with something fierce and unbreakable. He cradled their son gently. This is Lucian, Noah said softly. I chose the name. Lucian swallowed hard. You chose. Noah smiled faintly. I did. Lucian reached out, touching his son's tiny hand, then Noah's. His voice was rough when he spoke. I won't own you, he said. Not anymore. I'll protect you, fight for you, but I won't cage you again. Noah studied him for a long moment. Then he nodded. Then, I'll stay. Life did not become soft. Lucian was still ruthless. The world was still dangerous. Their past did not vanish. But inside their home, rules were rewritten. Lucian asked instead of ordered. Noah spoke instead of endured. Their love was imperfect, scarred, obsessive, fierce, but it was chosen. Years later, Noah stood on the balcony, watching their son laugh in the garden below. Lucian wrapped his arms around him from behind, careful, familiar, real. You're quiet, Lucian said. Noah leaned back against him. I was remembering who I used to be. And now? Lucian asked. Noah smiled. Now I'm someone who wasn't bought. Lucian pressed a kiss to Noah's temple, slow, reverent. You were never silence, he said. You were survival. Below them, their son called out, safe and loud and alive. And for the first time in Lucian Vale's life, power meant nothing compared to what stood beside him. They were not perfect. They were not gentle. But they were bound by choice. The end.